welcome back to another edition of the Buck Junkies podcast. I'm Malcolm Reed. Got my fellow Buck Junkies here, Mr. Mark Williams, Mr. Jamie Williams, Mr. Mikey Dyer, and Tyler on the board today. Fellas, how's it going?
Pretty good. Busy for a Monday.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Kind of different not having something like hunting over the weekend. You know, season's over. It's a little different now.
You know, we got a lot of stuff to do. Is that what we're going to talk about? What are we talking about today, Jamie? This is your week for topics.
Yeah, kind of hard to come up with something. So I kind of watching a video the other day, and the guy was talking about, you know, hunting's more than just the actual taking or killing the animal. It's a lot more from anywhere from emotions just to the time and effort you got put into it. So something a little bit different. That's what I was wanting to know. Like, what do y'all think on? So hunting, I got on here, hunting's a lot more than just a kill of an animal. So we talk a lot about what we put back in as far as like food plots, time, effort, just taking care of the land, doing all the stuff that leads up to the hunting. That's probably, in all honesty, more important than the actual hunt itself.
Yeah, I think it gets a bad rap because a lot of people that think hunting's just killing is non-hunters.
Right.
You know, because you got people that think that all we do is go out there and kill animals just to be shooting something.
And I mean, it does go on, but
I mean that's part of it's, you know, taking an animal's life or dispatching an animal. But to me, that's not hunting. You know, hunting is the act of all the stuff you said goes into it, taking care of the land, whether you're doing food plots, whether you're doing tree management, you know, putting time out there. I mean, and then taking an animal is just one part of the hunt.
Well,
regardless,
you're trying to be stewards of everything.
Yeah.
That's right.
The land, the animal, everything, you know. So you're really trying to take care of, trying to better that land. You're trying to better your deer herd that's on your property, you know, and just make things better all the way around, you know, better than what you had it, you know. It's interesting to see if you can grow a, you know, 140, 150-inch deer on a piece of property that normally wasn't so, you know, held a deer like that.
Yeah, that's true right there. I mean, not everybody's hunting a trophy animal. You know, to me, that's like I don't kill a bunch of trophies. I mean, to me, they're trophies. I guess, you know, depending on what a deer is to somebody, that's why you decide to take it. But I mean, a big part of, you know, what hunting is being in the outdoors. That's what I wrote down as far as, you know, when Jamie brought that topic up. It's a lot more than just going and killing something. It's about being outside and you know, being a steward of the land.
I think too, I mean, that gets all of us. I mean, we all work. I mean, Monday through Friday, that gives us a chance to, I mean, it could be dead heat of summer. We're leaving, we're going to camp. You know, it gives us a reason to go down there, whether it be cleaning up roads or, hey, putting a bridge across a ditch or something. It gets you out there.
Yeah.
And
there's a fellowship aspect.
Yeah, fellowship aspect of it.
That's a big part of it to me. I enjoy that as much as I do sitting in a stand by myself. I love going and doing stuff and being outside with everybody that, you know, that's fun to me. Going and, you know, that's part of, if you go to deer season, you think of deer season's, you know, that time of year that we're going to be sitting in a stand trying to shoot a deer. Well, it's more than that. It's about being down there and the stories we tell and the stuff we're sharing here on this podcast and
the stuff we do,
the kids we take with us and get to, you know, they get to experience, you know, something that we're passing down to them. I look like, you know, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I think I get more out of like the pre-hunt, like building up to it, you know, getting ready for that, getting, you know, all of us being down there, being able to share time together and do stuff with the kids. And like you said, you know, is teaching them kids those kids how to, you know, be stewards like we're trying to be, you know, because we ain't perfected this.
Oh, heck no.
We're just,
I don't even know if you consider
it trial and error right now. I mean,
I'm not a great hunter,
things.
you know, and that was one of my things I brought up is, is somebody that goes out and sits in a box stand over a food plot, or is that hunting? I mean, to me it is, but I guess hunting's to different people is different things. But some people would look at what I'm doing as like, you're not hunting. You're not going and, you know, picking out one animal and stalking it or hunting that one particular thing. I mean, but there's different ways that you hunt, you know.
But it's like what you said, you're technically hunting, but you're taking in anywhere from a turkey to the deer to a rat,
squirrels,
anything we see out there. I mean, that's what.
Yeah,
I like it as much as I do.
So, and that's what I put down here, Jamie. Is to me, it's about being in the outdoors and respecting the outdoors.
Right. Exactly.
That's what being a hunter's about.
Yeah, respect what I had on here also. It's like anywhere from the land to the animal to, you know, it all goes back. You got to respect it if you want something in return.
To your neighbors.
Well, too.
That's true.
I mean, you got to look at the situation we're in. I mean, we're on 200 acres ish, and you're not going to stalk a deer on 200 acres. I mean,
Yeah.
you'll follow him off of it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, it's not like we're out west hunting on 5,000 and 6,000 acres government land and stuff like that. I mean, with what we have to do, that's hunting. You know, that's hunting for us in Mississippi.
That's hunting for me.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up with that deer with Michael. You know, you said respect. I mean, you could have very easily just, you and Mark and Mike, you could have crossed over that fence, trespassed on this guy, looked for that deer, and then
Trumped all over his hunting land, you know.
You'd have got, if you would have technically got caught, that would have been
Violation.
First off, you're a bad guy.
Yeah.
Y'all are bad hunters. I mean, like I said, it all goes back to that word respect. You know, the neighbor's land. That's what y'all did.
And two, I think that goes both ways. It, like, you know, we met that neighbor, you know, and we had a good, I guess, relationship starting. Who knows? That's going to come back around. Hey, man, you know, he may invite us to come over there. He may need to come on our side. I mean, you never know what that opportunity will present in front of you. And just showing, like you say, a good respect to your neighbor or to whoever you're hunting around, you don't know what that's going to lead to.
No,
I know what it's going to lead to if you don't show respect, and that's nothing, you know.
I mean, truth be known, we've already had that experience on your land already. You know, a guy knowingly trespassed on you this year. We got it on camera. I mean, and I've never personally met the guy, but
I already don't like him.
Yeah, puts a bad taste in my mouth.
That's the last thing you want to see, somebody going by with your trail cameras that you don't know who it is.
Right.
Yeah. That's I mean, I wouldn't do that. I don't plan to go on anybody's land that I ain't supposed to have permission from, and I expect somebody else to give you that same respect, you know. I guess mistakes happen, but
honest mistake and intentional is two different things.
That's right.
So we kind of covered two topics in one on that. So what are some of the important thoughts or ideas you have about hunting and just being outdoors? Like, you know, what does it mean to you? What do you? I mean,
well, the first thing I thought about when I read that was getting enjoyment from being outside and you know, taking in what God's provided for us to have for enjoyment, because it's not, we don't own the land. I don't care what you paid for it or what you think. We're renting that land. You know, that land's always going to be there. It's we're taking. I think when you buy a piece of land or you lease a piece of property or it's under your care, that's what the obligation you're taking on, is that you're going to take care of that land for whoever's going to get it next. Because it may be somebody in your family. You never know. You might sell it, whatever. But you're still taking that stewardship role. That, you know, that's you're going to take care of that land while it's under your possession, I guess I should say.
Right. But I mean, everything that we do to it, I mean, upgrades that for whoever, you know, whether it's going to be somebody that's going to buy it or, you know, one day you pass it on to Michael, you know, that'll be one less thing they have to do or we've already created or taken care of that they won't, you know, they may or may not have to put so much effort into.
Yeah. Gets it on a good program. I mean, and that's part of what we do too with the kids is, you know, that they may not realize that when we ask them to come out there and plant trees or pick up limbs or help load fertilizer, I mean, that we're not doing that for free labor. It's to teach them that we're taking care of this land doing that stuff. That's all part of it. You know, it's not just when hunting season roll around who can go out there and shoot the biggest buck. That's not, you know, that's not being a good hunter there. I mean, is it hunting? Yeah, I guess you are hunting, but that's not, you're not being a land steward at that point.
I mean, like you're talking about them trees. I mean, true enough, Mikey took the boys down there, spent a lot of time with them. To them, they probably, in all honesty, did not think nothing about it. 10, 15, 20 years down the road, Michael, Dustin's boys, Will, Gage, they can all say, hey, I planted that tree. Or,
that's right.
You know, Uncle Mikey took us down here, we planted these trees, you know, and you can see with the results then.
Yeah, yeah. And you take that for granted day in, day out, but when you see it over the course of years,
when they're killing them big bucks going to them sawtooth dogs, they don't think about it.
Yeah, why those bucks are going to those persimmon and oak trees, huh?
Well, that's something I've noticed this year, just, you know, in the last few summers that we've had the boys out there helping us and stuff. I mean, they had more passion to hunt this year than I've ever seen them. I mean, Michael hunted every weekend, you know, and was there and was, you know, knew what deer he wanted to go out there and shoot and, you know, wanted to have that. And he let good bucks pass up that, heck, if I was his age, I don't know that I could have, you know?
Yeah, there's no way I would have. I was like,
that was probably really hard for him, I'm telling you.
Well, I mean, it's good and bad because a kid, you know, they have such short attention spans and there's other stuff going on in their lives and they're wanting to hang out with their buddies and stuff. And you got to kind of watch when you're taking them to do like we were. Of course, we want them to kill better deer and learn why we do it and kill the does that we need to kill and all that. But they can get bored so easy with it. And I think, I saw that towards Michael at the end after he did finally shoot the buck he wanted to kill. He was done. He's like, I'm through hunting now. I was like, man, I don't, and it don't really bother you I mean, it kind of does and don't, because I want to spend time with my son wherever he'll go, but you just got to know that they ain't always gonna want to go.
No, they're not like it. They're not like us, where they,
Yeah.
and there's sometimes I get burnt out.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I burnt Will out early. He told me at one time, he's just like, Daddy, I don't want to go no more. But we were down there like
every
we
week
were trying to bow hunt, trying to get that doe quota, and I was wanting to get it during bow season, so we didn't disrupt our hunting season. So, I just kind of run him in the ground with it, and that was the wrong thing to do, because then I worried about him like not ever coming back. It was like crap.
Yeah, and it happens. I mean, I think it's our job now to keep them interested enough the rest of this off season where they're ready to go next season.
Well, too, I think you mentioned the off season. That's one of my favorite times. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love being down there hunting season and hunting, but like in the summer and stuff, we get down there, cook a good meal, get up the next morning, work the food plots, and then it's just, I guess at nighttime we sit around and talk about what we may kill that year.
Yeah.
It's just all the socialing, and
that part's what's fun to me.
Yeah. Like, I enjoy working the food plots and getting out there and riding the tractor. And I'm by no means no tractor operator, but I can ride circles with the best of them. And we can throw some fertilizer out, but it's a lot more to it that never gets mentioned. Like Jamie said, nobody ever talks about, hey, I go down here and cut some poison oak off around my tree stand, or go clear this road or whatever. That's stuff that goes on that we, for some weird reason, enjoy doing, but never gets mentioned.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of people like that. I mean, we talk about having work days at clubs. If you're in a club or something like that, you got to go.
That was my favorite time when I was a teenager.
The work days.
Work days, yeah.
There's a lot of people go to clubs, and a lot of these clubs they can't get people to show up for them. And it's just you got people that all they want to do is they expect the food plot to be planted, and they're going to go sit in their stand. I guess that's their prerogative, but there's way more to it than just showing up during hunting season, or going out there in the fall and breaking something up and throwing out something that's going to come up green.
I know you ain't going to turn me and Mikey loose with a chainsaw again.
Sometimes you got to take trees down. That's part of it.
That's probably our next step now. Is right now there's nothing you can really do. You can't do no tractor work or anything like that with all the ground being like this. It's not going to do any good right now, anyways. Yeah. But this time of the year will be a great time of the year to start doing tree maintenance and things like that. And we're going to have to. We'll start doing tree kills and trimming out some of those lanes that are grown up and overgrown and things like that, and try to get those taken care of before spring planting season hits. And it's like anytime you got a minute to get down there and plant, or a dry day, you got to
go. Yeah. Well, that was what, like, Jamie, part of your question here was, what does all that mean to you? Where you're talking about the plant and the food plot, the trees, the management, and all that. And to me, we're not necessarily taking care of the deer. We're taking care of the land. If you can get your forest right, your soil to where it's going to grow your year-long food plots, you can grow in the spring, you can grow in the summer. You've got browse for them. You're controlling the numbers of deer. To me, it's all about farming the land. We're taking care of that soil. We're getting it right, and all that does in return is bring the deer to us. The deer part's kind of just a bonus for taking care of that land. Whether you're working on your trees, you're working on your plots, whatever you're working on, you're creating that habitat. So you're basically habitat farming at that point.
And that works for everything from the deer to the turkeys, even the fish in your pond.
It does.
You took a lot of smaller fish out of the pond. I mean, it all works out.
Every critter in the ecosystem, taking care of that land first, is what makes your encounters with them, makes them want to live there. And you got to control your predators. I mean, you're going to have predators that show up to take care of some of those animals. So
that's next thing.
There's a lot. I didn't put that on my list. Of predator control. We got some.
We finna be vengeance on some
coyotes running around there.
When they start stopping in front of the camera with the rabbit in their mouth, yeah, you got to get them gone.
See, I went totally opposite, and I guess deeper than what y'all did on that. What does that being outdoors mean? To me, this year it was therapy.
Yeah.
This first year probably, and man, it's been long. I did not kill a deer this year. I seen a lot that I could had and probably should had, but to me it was therapy. I don't know, it just watching deer, watching turkeys, squirrel, whatever, sitting there. To me,
I can see that.
Reset a lot of stuff, and we had a hard year this year. We lost our mom. It was that was therapy.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. I mean, just being out there and being able to clear your mind when you're
Right.
sitting in a stand or on a tractor or whatever you're doing. It seems like, I don't know if it's the fresh air, if it's the
Right.
birds chirping, if it's seeing seeing the woods. All that it's kind of soothing to your soul, you know.
Mhm.
It really, but it takes you. To me, I think it shows you that there's more to this life we got than just the day in day out struggle that we all go through. You know what I mean? It's a bigger picture. There's a lot more to it, and that's why you got to be thankful for that land. You know,
Yeah.
I think
I
it
mean,
brings
it's
you
like-
closer to.
Like I said, I can get on the tractor and I don't know. Yeah, it's work. Yeah, you're gonna sweat. Yeah, you're gonna get dirty. Yeah, you're gonna get dusty. But to me, that's my relief.
Yeah,
It lets me relax, lets me forget about things, and just I don't know, just enjoy it.
beats sitting here in the office, don't it?
Yeah, it does.
It does. Days. And that's something like when Jay come down and hunted with us, we were sitting there and that's the one time we were sitting there in that big food plot and that's the quietest I've ever heard the woods. I mean, me and him looked at us like I've never been outside and it's been this quiet. Like, I mean, it hurt. It was so quiet.
Yeah,
And he's like, it's quiet, but it's loud as hell too. And I sit there for a minute, I was like, yeah, it's pretty loud, ain't it? Like because I mean,
you hear other stuff.
you hear other things, and when it gets that quiet, I mean, your mind does some tricks on you. You sure enough get to thinking then.
Oh yeah,
And it was probably a good 15 minutes to where I don't even know that the wind was even making a noise. I mean, it was just perfect quiet.
Yeah,
And I never noticed it being that quiet. Me and sitting there, and I was like, it's just I don't know, it's something about it. It's different.
I like that though.
Yeah.
I like that quietness.
I find out how bad my ears are. All you hear is ringing. Then
Yeah,
shouldn't have shot that gun with no earmuffs.
and that stand y'all was in, you can hear some Mexican music for some reason.
Yeah, I did get some of that every now and
You hear
then.
that and some chickens. You definitely gonna hear the chickens.
It's amazing how far that sound carries because there's nobody lives. I mean, it's a mile or so before that house. We pinpointed what house that was. I guess they was having some kind of fiesta, yeah.
Fiesta going on.
But they had the full thing going.
Yeah, that night it was carrying pretty good. I mean, they had a full blown mariachi band up there on the hill, and I was like, good night. They sound
I was
like,
like,
they
"Where's
were
that
right
at?"
there
I
by
thought they
me.
were right across the hedgerow. Yeah. But man, that was on down the road a while.
So
Not big time though.
Mark was talking about Jay coming down from Indiana. That was the next thing I got on here is the different experiences we have from kids to just to us as new people that's gotten involved in hunting. From like I say, Jay coming down, their method of hunting and what they see and do totally different than ours.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And then Brian, Brian's just now getting into hunting, so it was kind of exciting to hear Brian's stories all season.
You ought to sit in there. It's really exciting.
Poor Brian.
That's one thing that I really enjoy is being able to take somebody for their first time. And I've taken, I don't know how many people when they've gotten their first deer, and even to see a grown man, shoot their very first deer and get all shook up over it and just, you get that adrenaline pump, and then you realize that I just took this animal's life or whatever. And now what are we going to do with it? You want to show it respect. You wanted to make a good shot. You wanted to, get every bit of that meat that we can and feed your family with it, whatever you're doing with it. That's all stuff that I think is help preserve the sport right there. Being able to do that for people. I like it. I like, that's part of the camaraderie too. It's fun when I shoot something, but man, it's more fun when you take somebody else and they get to do it, especially for the first time, because that's something you'll remember the rest of your life. That first time, we've talked about that on podcasts before, that first deer you killed or those first stories. That's stuff that lives with you that you will never forget.
I've never met anybody that doesn't get shook up. When I first started dating Emily, she's never been really deer hunting, and she was going to go sit with me, and she didn't have a gun. She wasn't going to shoot. She wasn't doing nothing. And a little old doe and yearling come out, and I looked over and she just ate up with it. And I was like, why are you shaking? I don't know. I think, am I sick? And I was like, no.
Am I sick? Just seeing the deer and her being in stuff.
Yeah, she was just like, it got all over, and I was like, that's it.
She let you shoot that doe?
No, we let her walk. But she did shoot a deer that year, and she's never been back.
Really?
She was one and done, But she loves sitting out there, and she still gets shook up, and that's just, to me, if that ain't something working to make you get that drive and not even have the interest of shooting an animal or taking an animal, that's nature, that's something that makes it worthwhile.
Well, I kind of made a note about that. It's amazing that we're lucky enough to have natural resources that we could go out and hunt and enjoy and do that kind of stuff and see animals like that. And the moment that you're not excited about doing it, that's probably when you need to find something else. Because I still get that way. I don't care if it's a doe or what.
Yeah.
If I see a deer, man, I'm like, oh, you know, it's hard to relax on them.
Oh, I got
Pumps me up.
I got involved with the Arca Butler Physically Challenged hunt a couple of years ago, and them guys, some of them guys are wheelchair, can't walk.
Yeah.
This is their only week they get to hunt. And man, you go down there and watch them guys get excited. No,
Oh, they don't cut them no slack.
no, that's to me that's been one of the most beneficial things I've got mentally.
Yeah, helping those guys,
Yeah.
whether it's helping them get to the stand or.
Right. We just take.
Oh, they don't show no mercy either,
they
do
sure
they?
don't. No, they pile up some does.
If his brown is down, I don't blame them. If that's my only chance to get out and get some meat, man, I'm shooting whatever. It don't matter.
Darn right.
I wouldn't. Don't be picky.
That's like, this past weekend, me and Jamie went out of town and actually went down to Louisiana where some of our family is. And my cousin, I took him on one of his first hunts. And, this is dumb looking back, but we had 2 climbing stands and we set them up on the same tree. So he had his top piece and my top piece, and we shingled them so we could climb up, and we were still sitting by each other in the same tree, So
I'd like to see
Y'all
that.
team coordinate that going
yeah,
up the tree?
I mean, it took a minute.
Yeah,
but
I
new
bet it
Olympic
did.
sport.
Yeah,
we figured it
team
out.
climbing.
And this little old buck come out. I mean, it was a 4 or 6 point. I mean, it was almost touching. I mean, I don't think you could put a smaller basket rack together,
Yeah.
And it come out, and he was like, "Hey, there's a deer." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, just wait a minute. And I'm trying to tell him, wait a minute. And I look out of the corner of my eye, and I see the barrel, and it's wobbling, and it dials in. And it wasn't no warning, no, hey, I'm finna shoot.
He got
He got him. But you'd have thought he done shot a 180-inch. I mean, tickled to death. And he's still tickled about it. And
Yeah.
heck, Jamie still got the
I got
pictures on my daddy's wall right now with him and daddy standing with
Yeah,
the first
you didn't ever
deer.
bring him back up. That's it. You're on your own now.
But now he showed some pictures of deer that's on the club there again, and
Shoot.
Yeah.
he does
Good
step
deer.
the game
Studs,
up a
had
lot.
it, yeah.
He went from a 30-inch deer to 150
Yeah.
pretty easy.
See.
But that's what it's about, It's,
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's we always have some kind of new story every year when it comes to hunting, whether it be actually hunting season or getting ready for hunting season. I mean, I've got injured down there, had stories. Somebody else I know got hung up in a ladder. I mean,
Heck yeah. I think
they
that's
wasn't
fun.
funny at the moment, but we laugh at it now,
That still ain't funny to me. Fall out of a stand, you're hung up. It ain't fun.
Man, we're going to slow down. We're covering too many topics too fast.
Well, I know one of the things that, like this year, y'all were talking about Brian getting shook up and stuff like that. Getting into different levels, excuse me, of hunting and stuff, like Gage and Will, the boys have killed deer, so they don't get nervous about rifle hunting. Well, they do a little bit if they seen a nice buck, but watching them boys like this year with those bows, trying to kill a deer and up close and personal with them, I know that one hunt we went, it was me and Gage sitting there, and man, we had this doe come out. Man, she was right. She wasn't 15, maybe 15 yards. Well,
Spitting distance.
Yes, she was close, and I told him, I was like, she's close. She's gonna have to be slick, get her. And he was like, all right, yes sir, I got it. Man, he drew that bow back, and the way he drew back, I mean, he waited till she got I thought he'd already drawn because I was trying to film it.
Yeah.
I had the camera out, so I wasn't looking at him. The GoPro was pointing at him, but I couldn't see it, so I was filming the deer, and I was like, all right, Gage, you can shoot, and then I hear the arrow drag over the wrist, and that, man, I'm talking about, she bolted out there like a, man,
She knew what that was.
She
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 done
shot
heard
her
that
out of the
once.
gun. But, when I looked over at him, like he let the bow back down, and he was just shaking, just quivering. He couldn't even hardly talk. He was like, I messed it up, didn't I? I said, you sure did, man. I said, what happened? He was like, I was so nervous. I'm like, I thought I could get on her and get it, and I didn't realize she was that close. Yeah, she was. We could have hit her with a rock. You need to be drawn, but them learning how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just that wasn't nothing bad. I mean, it was still fun. We were laughing about it, but learning how to.
If you ain't been busted out by a doe bow hunting,
Yeah.
you probably ain't hunting much.
So that was a really good time this year, is being able to get the boys in there and get them on deer with bows in their hands. Because I know Gage he's never killed one with a bow yet. So
Did they get discouraged by not getting a shot?
a few times, because the wind currents in that time of the year are different than they are when and a lot of our stands are set up for
North winds.
Colder
north winds, you know, west winds, whatever, and you know, trying to hunt. That's where we messed up at, is trying to hunt those box stands. That was the wrong thing to do during bow season. We should have been ground blinds or climbing stands or some kind of ladder stand. You know, being a little more mobile, or you know, set the stands up for different winds. We were trying to get the camera, and I was trying to get camera footage of the boys killing deer and stuff like that, and it didn't work.
Yeah,
it did not work the way we were trying to do it. So,
well, it gives us something to improve on for this coming fall.
That dog got lucky because I've seen Gage shoot, and Gage is
pretty good with a bow.
He's really
Heck,
good.
he was bow hunting in January. You know, when we were all still with rifles, he done went back to bow and got it back
did he
out.
Ever get one? He never did.
No, he never did.
He put his camera out at the house. He had a pretty decent buck right there in my driveway. He was hunting it a good bit late season.
Yeah.
But the things the boys experienced this year, you know, is you took Michael bow hunting, didn't you?
Yeah, we went.
You know,
we didn't get close enough to shoot anything.
That was all of them's probably first time like really bow hunting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like getting out there where they actually had a chance. Because I mean, those food plots during that time of the year were full of deer. You know, and so just playing the wind right and trying to get in there and get them on one was a lot of fun. But you know, something else that Will done this year was, you know, him taking Sam this year. Him kind of doing what we're doing with them was somebody, you know,
somebody older
than him.
Yeah, but it never killed a deer. Yeah,
and we've got a couple stands at the house, right around the house, and him taking Sam down there like every evening after he got out of school, just trying to get that boy a deer because he never killed one, and they finally succeeded at it, you know. And like y'all were saying with Brian, you know, he was just he was so wound up when he come up that hill with that buck, man. He was tickled to death. So, you know, those things that's what makes it worthwhile.
I think we're all getting at the age that's more to us than it is us actually pulling the trigger.
No, yeah, I think so too.
I'd rather pull the trigger on a coyote most time or something like that than I do a deer. So, and two, I mean, there's a lot of firsts this year. I mean, you know, first year I guess we all kind of worked together on tried to get some ducks on duck holes, and you know, like Jamie got here. I mean, same experiences happened in the duck blind. It was a little dry year this year on duck blind, but we did have some good duck hunts.
We had a few good ones, yeah.
They might have been corn fed, but they were good duck hunts. But
it's like on that, you know, your father-in-law. I mean, he hadn't duck hunted in years
and was ate up with it all year.
All again,
his whole hunting age dropped 20 years. I mean, he done got him a dog. He's full blown like he was back.
He's ready to go. Yeah, he's ready to go.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to goodness they push duck season back Mississippi.
Oh, it ain't gonna happen.
Just 1 month.
That ain't gonna happen.
Because we're covered up in them right now.
How many years have people been saying do that? 20 years?
Probably.
That needs a push. I mean, it's definitely changed.
If the government could figure out another way to tax it, they'd push.
They would push it back.
Push it back.
If they had another license you buy, the postseason license, it was double the price.
And two, like, I mean, that last weekend we all went. I mean, Michael made a heck of a shot on a couple of ducks that morning. You know,
he can shoot shotgun pretty decent.
And I mean, that was
a beginner.
Cool to see that. And I mean, I guess that's the first year Waylon's ever been duck hunting.
First time ever, yeah.
I mean,
he never killed a duck till this year.
I will admit this year duck hunting. I hadn't duck hunted in a long time. Used to hunt pretty decent duck hunting. But this is the first. I'm 48 years old. This is the first time we've ever had to fish somebody's teeth. Sorry about that, Waylon.
That was a good. I knew something was wrong. He sneezed, someone flying, and then he got to looking down through a hole in the duck blind. I was like, "What are you doing?" Spit my teeth out.
Still had snuff on them.
Yeah.
How do you spit your false teeth out? And then they fell through the wood floor. Of
the only crack in the floor.
Yeah, and luckily it was on dry ground. That blind was over dry ground. Water would have been up. We'd have never found.
No, we wouldn't have found that.
He was looking for a way to get up under that blind.
Mike and Mark's got 2 chopsticks over there.
Hey, we got it.
You fished them out. Yeah, it took a double effort. You and Mikey both.
I was like, if I get him close, just grab Mike's like,
he thought he was going to go back to the truck and get a saw, take some boards out. He's like, that's $4,000 worth of teeth. I got to have them.
I'll buy the duck blind.
Yeah, we're cutting the floor.
We're cutting the floor. He can buy some more boards. We got to find them 4 teeth. I guess it was like the bridge or something. He had.
I'm going to start recording what goes on behind the scenes, not the actual hunt. Behind the scenes, so funny.
That was a good one there. We'll all remember that story for sure.
We've got a bunch of them. Some of them glad we didn't video.
Yeah.
We need a bloopers podcast.
For the best thing that goes on.
But you're right. It's not it's not just deer hunting. I mean, we took a fishing trip over in Arkansas, and we had a ball doing that. And again, I mean, that was a lot of times. That might have been one of the first times Brian had been trout fishing. You know,
I would say it
He was
probably
one and
was.
done with that one too, I think.
but I
He
mean,
likes hunting more than he does for trout fishing.
we had a lot of good memories from that trip. You know, I mean, it's something about the outdoors, I guess. You know,
Yep.
I don't know, it's special, that's for sure.
Well, you put me and Brian both in the boat, you're gonna starve to death. Me and him can't catch trout for nothing.
That poor guy, he was hurting that morning.
So, Jamie, I see this topic here you wrote. It says, what makes you want to use your time and efforts just for the few hours you get to spend in the stand? What are y'all's thoughts on that question? Like, why do you personally put so much time and effort into it to only get to go out there for the short season we have?
And I'm
That's a good
we done
topic.
talked about it, but I'm still on the memories and the stuff you take away from it. You know,
Yeah.
more than the actual hunt, because you definitely sit there more hours than you do harvest deer for sure.
That's a tough one. That could go any which way, you know. I mean, you got to think, like, for me, like Jamie said, it's a time, but it's like when I was a kid, Daddy come get me and we'd go to deer camp. Like, that's like built into you kind of deal. Like, it's just,
Primal,
yeah.
kind of
I mean,
part of your instincts, or
and it's not that, like, in a weird way, it's peaceful. It's time we spend together as a family. I mean, it's kind of like we always talk about in barbecue. We've met some great people in barbecue. We've met some great people hunting, you know?
yeah.
And you never know what that opportunity may lead to next time. It's not necessarily out there just you sitting in the stand by yourself. It's more to it than that.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody gets something different out of it. I mean, of course, we want to fill some freezers up, get some meat.
I
to
do
feed
like
the
some
family.
fried
I mean,
backstrap.
that's probably the number one goal is, hey, we're getting some meat and we can provide for it. We know we can sustain our families and feed them for a little time. What it is, take the deer. So you got to put some work into doing it. But there's something else to be said about the hours you put into it too, though, because you are getting some kind of, I don't know, call it therapy or whatever you want about, you seeing the fruits of your labor, from putting in all that pre-work to making it easier to get a deer. I mean,
Just like a garden.
yeah, really, it
Just
is.
a
Really,
year-round garden.
Yeah. I mean, you're farming. You might not realize it or not, but you're farming in a way.
And that's the satisfaction I get out of it a lot. It's different phases throughout the year. It's watching and seeing, like us trying this new system we're going to try this year on our summer food plots and stuff, is seeing if that works or not, and how it works, if the deer are going to respond to it, which I'm pretty sure they are, but just to see that play out and if it's actually going to be something we're going to stick with, but, and what kind of results we get from that stuff. But not only that, once you transition over into the, the hunting part of it, all that hard work and everything ties into watching everybody else. I love watching everybody else succeed at that.
Yeah.
Killing a deer that they, Mark killed 2 of the biggest deer he's ever killed this year.
So you get that sense of accomplishment that all that work, 'cause it ain't easy work. It's hard work. All that hard work has paid off, and it's paid off for somebody else because of the stuff that you've helped it come about.
Yep.
So I think there's a big sense of accomplishment to it that you've done something,
Yeah, because that it's no different than farming cows or something. You're still trying to take care of your deer. You're still trying to grow those deer. Like I said when we started this, is seeing how big a deer we can actually grow on that property. Is one day is a hope to, if we're able to continue to do this on this property, is to be able to go hunting and see a deer normally we would not have passed up. And we're still we progressed into waiting on that really big one.
Yeah. I mean, I like that idea of being able to, and we did it last year, probably for the first time, that we really took a survey of what deer we had, because we had game cameras out majority of the year. So we could see these deer put on through velvet. We knew which does had which fawns with them. And then we could kind of target the deer that we wanted to kill, the ones that we wanted to take. And that's how you got, old Sling Blade.
That's what I was looking back. We probably got the most pictures of that deer.
Yeah.
I mean, I got 20 or 30 on my phone saved,
And then we've got the one y'all were talking about finding a shed on. He's a little 7-point right now that he's a resident. He's been there all season. We've seen him back through way before, they first put out velvet. When they dropped during bow season, nobody shot him. When it went on to rifle season, we passed on him. He was all over the property, and he's still there this day.
And you got his brother.
We'll get to see that deer. We'll see hopefully he makes it through the summer. We'll watch him grow this year and see what he turns into. I don't know if he'll be a shooter next year. He probably needs it still. I think he's still a 2 or 3 year old deer. So
that's gonna be cool because that's like that's we talked about just a few minutes ago. Is that what I want to find that shed?
Yeah,
like I want to find that.
Put
deer
your hands
shed.
on
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
So I kind of like during we had the sunflower field. We had all them group of bucks in velvet on camera. To me, it's kind of like a game. Let's see if we can keep. We're gonna keep that deer on the property.
Yeah, what you can do to keep him.
And
yeah,
then, we kind of followed like that one deer y'all talking about. We followed him from velvet all the way through deer season, still there. It's kind of neat, kind of like a game.
I think so too. That's part of making that habitat for them, and that was one of the reasons why we had to take a pretty good number of doe off, because we know that they're eating up the bucks' groceries, and they're not going to come in there and live when that many doe are constantly and they're eating everything. But so I think it's going to help on that aspect of it when we're creating these bedding areas and doing some tree work on them, and then trying to get more stuff to grow, and that's going to help that buck stick around, and we'll be able to see those bachelor groups and when they split up and when they're traveling through, and you're getting the other bucks that are just old nomad bucks that come that we haven't seen before.
Well, it's like our neighbor, that one he had a picture of that's been right there on top of the stand you've been hunting.
Yeah.
And we never laid eyes on him.
Deer. Yeah, he was a monster.
And you're talking 100 yards from the stand you hunt,
Yep. Never seen that deer on camera.
Mm-mm. So, I mean, obviously.
Cameras will mess you up, too. We see a lot of deer on their cameras.
But you're only looking at 10 foot.
Yeah, and you don't know what all you miss. Some of them old bucks are too smart. They ain't going to go by it.
Yeah, they see that old 2x4 drove in the ground. Oh, y'all swing out wide.
Send them little ones by them.
It's I'm looking forward to it. I mean, this year we learned a lot, and it was kind of cool to see it. And I think it's only the beginning. I mean, this has been really the first year we really, really zoned in on what deer we had and kind of hunted those deer. And
kept records of
every deer
what was
killed.
killed, where it was killed, what time it was. Pretty much everything on that deer.
But the one thing we didn't keep up with is the man in the green pants.
Yeah, that's what I got on here now. That what's some hunters the worst 3 words you can hear. That's the game.
I don't ever want to hear
the game warden.
It ain't you got to be doing it wrong. You just don't hear it.
No, I mean, now don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure you take any game warden with anybody hunting situation, they usually find a reason to give you some type of citation. I had never got one, but I've
witnessed a few.
Yeah, I've witnessed some.
I've gotten some.
But have you gotten some? You had some good run-ins with them?
Yeah.
What's the worst one you got?
I got one for shooting out of a moving vehicle.
Man, was you in the truck?
Well, no, not one shot. No, but that goes back to the last thing you want to hear is the game warden.
Yeah.
That depends on the game warden too. You got some out there that's complete ass. Just like, So I mean, it's just like the cops. You got good cops, you got bad ones.
Yeah,
In the same way with the game wardens. There's some that's really cool, and they're not really pushing you that hard. But this guy, he was. Yeah, we had shot out by a cornfield out on the edge of this. It was close to the road, but we weren't in the road. We were out on the edge. We got a new shotgun. I was out there shooting.
Weren't shooting at a deer.
No. It was like this time of the year.
Yeah.
So I'd gotten back in the truck with the guy that had the gun. The last guy that had shot it, when we got back up to the truck, he had pumped the shell out like right there. It hit the road as he was getting in my truck. I was parked right on the shoulder of the road. Well, the game warden come over the hill, heard us shooting. He pulled me over and was like, hey, y'all shoot from the road. I said, no, sir, we didn't shoot from the road. Well, the boy that got in the truck with me, of course, he didn't pump out all the shells. He still got one in the pipe.
Yeah.
So instead of this guy letting me explain, he went back, seen the shell in the road, picks the shell up out of the road. Well, I know y'all shot from the road. There's an empty shell out there. I was like, man, I didn't even know he pumped that shell out in the road. I don't even know if that's mine, but it probably is. I wasn't trying to lie to the guy. I got me a ticket. Had to go to court and everything. I was like, man. And the more we argued with him, the more aggravated he got. And
the more aggravated
he wound up writing the boy with me 2 more tickets.
Oh,
and
man.
I was like, dude, just shut up. Don't say nothing
That's
else.
how it works.
So that's how I got a bad taste in my mouth about the game warden. So, but they've chased me a few times for good reason, too.
I think a big part of that, why people have or put the bad taste for them, is because probably doing something illegal.
Probably doing something wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's usually the ones. That's
99% of the time, if you're not doing nothing wrong, there's no issue.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, you will have a bad guy, just like you got a bad hunter, you're gonna have a bad game warden.
I mean, I could be 100% legal and I still get butterflies.
Yeah.
Like, oh crap,
He's gonna tell you what to check the
Something-
license. What if I ain't got it
something.
right? No, luckily I've got pretty good relationships with our game wardens. They're good guys. In fact, that's who put us in touch with the neighbor.
Yeah,
We
I
were
mean,
looking
they've got
for
us out of pickles
Yeah.
before.
Michael's deer. I mean, it's and if you find a trespasser, that's who you call. Call your game warden. That's who's gonna handle it. And I guarantee you, it don't take them long to get to the bottom of something. What amazes me about that, those guys are really underpaid for what they do. I mean, the game warden's on duty pretty much 24/7. He gets calls all through the night.
Everybody's
Some-
dealing with
And everybody dealing with has got a gun. I mean, it's amazing. You probably don't hear a lot about what really goes on with them, but it's a underappreciated job they do. I mean, I know their job is to write tickets, but they do a lot more than that too. You know, they're looking out for the animals. They're looking out for landowners. They're looking out for all of us. And if something was to go wrong, that's the first ones you're gonna call.
Yeah, you get a good game warden. There's no doubt. They're excellent guys, and they are, like you said, they are underpaid, and their job is very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
It's not
passionate
joke.
about the exact same thing we are. I mean, they wouldn't be doing it for a living if they wasn't passionate about it. They're just, that's their jobs to make sure we do it right. And
Heck yeah.
It's like our local game warden here is Mike Powell. You know, we hang out with him. He comes by the store a lot, and Mike's the type of guy. He's by the books. You know, if you do something wrong, you get a ticket. But he'll write you that ticket that morning, eat lunch with you that afternoon. You know, he don't
Expect you to buy it.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing his job.
That's right. It is. I mean, they got a job to do. I mean, I realize that's how the state makes money. For the department. What is it? Wildlife Fishing Parks. That's part of their yearly budget citation. So they got to do them. I mean, imagine most of them come off the government lands and boat ramps and places like that. They probably don't come on private land. Very often unless they got a good cause. I don't know any of them that's just going to go messing with you.
yeah,
That's just going to go on your land trying to see what you're up to. I don't think they do. I mean, I've never heard them say that.
well, we were listening.
Somebody's got to have a reason for them. Somebody's done told them you're baiting or got a
You got to be on the
feeder.
list.
You got to be on the list, or you're an outlaw. You shot from the road or done something you wasn't supposed to.
We were listening to that Meat Eater podcast, and that's kind of what they were talking about. Is like a lot of states now are taking the game warden rights to where they have to have a warrant just like police officers.
I've heard that.
Come on,
Yeah,
private land.
because a game warden has ultimate jurisdiction. They can go on anybody's
In most states.
If they want to go look in your freezer, see what you got, they can legally. I mean, they serve warrants in a lot of states.
Right.
That's what they said. The complaint was that all the government land guys, they're finna get all the tickets now because they can't go to private
Can't
land.
go on private land.
But I mean, then again, it kind of falls back. If you're not doing nothing wrong, what do you have to worry about?
That's right. That's exactly what I said. That's why I don't. I mean, our game wardens, they know they can come on our property whenever they want to.
I mean-
he knows the gate code and everything. Because you never know when you might need them to do something.
When Mike Powell first came to Soda County, a bunch of people did not like him, but he got out and done his job. I've talked to him about. I had a dove field. Hey, why don't you come look, make sure it's legal? He's like, don't worry, I've already been there.
He already looked at it.
He already knew.
Like I say, then again, he's doing what we pay him to do.
Which one do you think they write? You think they write more tickets on fishing license or dove fields?
Fishing.
Think so.
Fishing, hands down. I've
That's where they
watched
make
that.
their money.
We
That's year round. People
Yeah,
fish
well, that's
year
true. I
round.
didn't think about
Yeah.
that. That's year round.
we were our old hunting camp was right down there by Sardis, and we used to catfish a bunch in the river. And it was was it St. Jude Classic they do down there in Sardis?
Yeah, I think it's one of
Like Memorial Day
Yeah.
weekend, one of the big
Yeah.
holiday weekends.
It's BASS term.
Man, we seen so many tickets get wrote down there. Because I mean, it was, of course, that's pretty busy anyway, and we seen a few.
Of the times I've been checked, it's usually at Spillway. That's where I've been, fishing at Spillway.
Yeah.
Well, tell you got so much more to go on fishing. You got to think. I mean, you got ticket for life jacket, ticket for your boat numbers, ticket for your license, ticket for your size of your fish. How many? I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a lot of things you got to keep in check fishing, especially on public land and public waters.
But that all, like I said, all goes back to what we was talking about earlier. The game warden's doing his responsibility, take care of the land, take care of the animals. I mean, he again doing his job.
I don't mind. I'll buy him a biscuit anytime I see him at the gas
Heck
station.
yeah.
As long as he ain't writing you tickets.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I figure chances are we'll need their help more than they'll,
Right.
chances they'll write us a ticket for something.
We definitely use them. We use them a lot. If we got questions or it's a lot of gray area,
Yeah.
ain't one way to clear it up.
Well,
Call
I
him.
mean, especially now with the way, feeding and supplement stuff went in the northern part of the state. There's still places in Mississippi that it's legal to feed. You can still put out supplements. Well, where we are, we're in these CWD zones or because of the counties around us or whatever, where we have to go by their rules, and it's changed. So, like, we can't put out mineral licks right now. You can't put out any kind of supplemental feed. And the rules, I know they're probably black and white now as we've gotten used to it, but they weren't. They were kind of gray area. You didn't know, can we feed? Can we not feed? Can we be with so many feet of a feeder if we can? They still sell corn and rice bran everywhere you go.
At Walmart.
At Walmart, yeah. So, what do you do?
Have you heard an update on that? Like, has it been any cases this year?
Since
Close?
Since COVID, I hadn't seen them make a big deal about it. I'm sure they have. And last year, there was record hunters. I'm pretty sure. Mississippi doesn't have a tagging rule or anything, any kind of laws. Yeah, but they said there were more license and more deer suspected harvested last year than there were. Now, this year, I think it was a big fall off, but a big part of that was, it could have been ammo shortage. It could have been, all different kinds of stuff, fuel prices. Just from where we hunted this year, I didn't feel like I heard as much shooting as we did last year.
I agree.
That's what I was trying to pull it up, see if they had it posted, if there's anything new.
But it seemed like there wasn't near as many people. And even though talking to processors, the skull mount guy, they didn't do near as many this year as they did last year. There was times last year where local processors were cutting off.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't take any more deer to them. That's how many people. But I guess COVID was new. Meat prices were sky high. People decided to hit the woods and put some meat in the freezer. Now this year, I guess prices backed off a little bit. Ain't as much panic.
So you're talking about not being able to feed in DeSoto County. If we could, you can if it's a agricultural or livestock manor, I guess.
That was a game warden question, wasn't it?
So we could do a package deal. You get a feeder, a bag
donkey?
of corn, and a donkey, and you'd be 100% legal.
100% legal. Does the donkey have to be free range, or can you keep him on a tether?
Yeah, we can tie him close to the feeder.
You can tie him out just long enough for him to almost get to it.
We're getting tickets.
Yeah, that's got to be tickets.
Oh, yellow acorns.
Yeah, that would be good. I did say that earlier. I wouldn't mind getting Mike Powell or one of the game wardens to come in and just kind of.
Yeah, no, that'd be a good guest.
Open up the door to
talk
stuff.
I just want to hear some stories.
Yeah, I'll guarantee.
Story time.
I bet they got some.
Oh man,
We'll
my buddy of mine I went to college with, Stab, was a game warden down in Pontotoc, and we I got to go down there with them a few times. He was a big coon hunter, so he'd take us coon hunting. Well, all you do is build a fire and tell stories and go coon hunting. He had us cracking up stuff. And I was supposed to get to go out. That's back when they were doing the robo deer a lot. And he's like, man, that's some. He actually liked doing it, but he said it gets sketchy because you're out there watching.
They finna
something.
shoot.
You're watching something that somebody's got a firearm they're shooting at, and then you're going to turn the lights on and go get them. You don't know how that can go.
Man, I had a truck driver work for me. I just thought about this back. Oh, it's been some years ago, but he was a game warden down around the Sardis Grenade area, somewhere down in there, and he was telling me stories about them. They were on one of the bigger lakes, and most of their time was spent doing like surveys on the lake, like killing the fish.
Yeah,
like
doing a shock off or whatever. Yeah.
And logging those species and stuff like that. And he said they would be out he said, I've been shot at 2 different occasions, and both of them's being when I'm sitting in the middle of the lake in the boat. He said one guy was shooting at us with a .22 rifle, and the other was shooting at us with a high-powered rifle.
Just out of
he
trying
said
to kill them.
He said he don't know if he was just a bad shot or trying to scare them off or what.
Yeah.
He said, we didn't stick around to find out. We had to go. We had to call in and say, hey, I think they caught one of the guys, but the other one they didn't catch.
Man,
but them guys were just firing shots at him out there in the middle of the
game
boat.
board.
Yeah, and he was like, man, that stuff wasn't for me.
Yeah, I believe that.
We might look into that. We'll talk to one of the game wardens.
See if they're willing to come tell some stuff. I don't know if they can. We might just find one that's retired. Yeah. If they can legally talk about it. We don't ask them to name names or anything. We could do a disclaimer on it. This may or may not have happened, and things may have been changed.
I have been on a few dove hunts, and you definitely see some guys you never think would run a day in their life. They can clean up and go.
Really?
I've never really.
They got my brother bad down in Oxford. I say bad. He was He done. I don't know. I just wasn't hunting that weekend. I must have had to work or something. But they were down there, and Waylon had a stand. You could feed back then, but you had to be so far from it. He couldn't be within 100 yards or whatever. He had a box stand, and then 50 yards from it was a spin feeder, and he had like 4 sacks of corn up under his stand. And then the corn slung out all in the little food plot he had. Game warden come riding up on him. He didn't have on orange. So they got him for baiting, for no orange. I forget. I don't know if he had his license. His license was out or something. I mean, it ended up costing him. Shoot, I want to say it's almost $1,000.
It scarred him because when we were trying to get his duck stamp, he's like, "What's your license?" And he pulled out. He had a license for every state in America. Like, he had 20 different licenses right there. I was like, "Dadgum!" I said, "Those are only good for a year. I ain't throwing them away."
He keeps us records. I got Arkansas, Illinois, Mississippi, Tennessee. He did. He keeps it all. He's got like a stack.
Had one for every state but Mississippi.
Yeah. And then he couldn't find his other safety card. So you got to have that.
That's probably about the only, I guess you say, legal thing I've ever is a baited dovetail. I have a hunted dovetail. I was pretty sure it's baited. But
Well, that was the funny thing about that one was the game wardens told them they were just doing I guess it was out over there on number 30, and it was around all that government land. And they do flyovers of the government land, I guess, just to check the woods, see if there's any fires or whatever. And that land was so close to it, he said it looked like gold out there. And he said, "Man, we saw you from miles up there away."
on the plane,
He wasn't trying to hide it.
Yeah, there wasn't nothing hiding there. I mean, the game warden was cool about it. They just gave him tickets. That one guy had that's back when people used to line up that deer cocaine.
yeah.
He said it looked like a runway. Y'all had that stuff lined
Lead
up.
up to the feeder.
50 yards long, it looked like striped down the road. You can't do that.
Well, you've seen deer doing that though. They coming to the yellow
They coming
acorns.
to it. Oh yeah, they coming to it. They like that rice brand too.
I don't know where you get that at.
Yeah.
Hey, man, every co-op Mississippi's got it. I don't know what they
You
sell.
wasn't supposed to answer that, Mo.
You know how Malcolm is. He spills his guts.
Yeah, it wouldn't do me no good. If game warden comes ask me what's going on, I'm telling him.
We got
Man, we got it out there by the cedar tree. It's out there.
We tried to hide it from you.
We tried to hide it good. I'll take you and show you.
We're going to get Tyler to meet your mic.
Yeah. I'm like Chunk on Goonies. I'm going way back. We put it out there in 1987.
I shine my mag light on something one day.
We wouldn't go shoot it. We were just looking.
Yeah.
I couldn't see it good with my naked eye, so I did use crosshairs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny though.
Man.
We've had a good year though, but I think the work's fixing to begin now to get ready for next
Yeah, that
year.
was Jamie's last topic here. What's next?
Got the
So
spring
deer
food.
season's over. Here we are.
Gonna start trimming trees.
Trimming tree. Mark hit on one. Go and look see if we find any drops. And
I want to find some sheds.
I've never shed on it. I've seen found a few laying around in food plots and stuff. But as far as like walking the woods, this is the time of year. I guess they're starting to fall February or before turkey season gets here. So it's still squirrel season. So it'd be
I'm
a
probably
good time
gonna go squirrel
take a
hunting this
shotgun
weekend.
or 22 and hit the woods and see what you can find.
Yeah, I don't guess I've ever been shed hunting, but we always rabbit hunted
Rabbit
and
hunt.
squirrel hunted and stuff like that, and pick them up, throughout the year, and it's a good thing to do. I mean, if you
I
can
love
pick
it.
them up,
I've been to Hardin Point with Darren a couple times, and it's nothing. You can just walk around food plots and find it's different over there than it is here.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat to go find them.
I'm hoping might try to go squirrel hunting this weekend. See, of course we gotta get some rabbit hunting in. Gotta let the dogs run.
Yeah, Daddy's already hit me up last night about wanting to go one.
Well,
day this week.
hey, there's one that's been on camera.
I don't want to
out
shoot
there.
that one. He poses.
He's a stud rabbit
Yeah.
too.
Stands
Well,
up,
they're-
looks
they're
around.
3 foot
Jackrabbit.
tall. Yeah,
he told me that's what he was after.
yeah. You got to get that one.
They're gonna turn him loose at the camera.
I
Here,
don't
he
know
was
what
here
he's
last
looking at
night.
up there. Yeah, he was right here.
Showed a picture
It's
of the
been a hot
dogs.
trail. Yeah,
No, I guess
that was the trail cams. I mean, so now we've had trail cams out all deer season. Need to go get them in, pull the cards, kind of
Cards.
see what's made it. Yeah, what's what's still out there. It gives you an idea of if you got a coyote problem like we do when they do some work on that.
What do you call? It's not winterizing, but we gotta get our stands
Yeah, I mean,
summarized.
I get, yeah, it's wasperized is what it is. But this is the time of year where you got to do stand maintenance. So if you've got heaters, we always put some some of those buddy heaters and ours. You get those, bring them back in, keep bugs from building.
I mean, not me. I tough it out.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
tough
run a heater at all.
But if you need to fix some stairs so you don't have accidents, that's a good time to do it. Relocate some.
Should have done the stairs.
Yeah, we should. We kind of slacked on the stairs there for last year. It almost did it bad for me.
I had
moving stands and getting them buttoned up for the spring, and usually we just spray them with some bifin. Mix that up. That'll keep some of your bugs off of them. Wasps won't be as bad.
we got to set that one back on blocks before it gets springtime
Check
rain.
straps on them. We've got several we want to relocate, try to move around to different positions. It's a good time to work on some of your trails because trees ain't started putting back out yet.
Yeah,
so you could take some limbs down. They ain't too hot. Places that you don't have to get big equipment into where you won't tear stuff up. Because a lot of times, like Mikey said earlier, the ground's bad this time of year. It's done got saturated, and you'll tear it up getting machinery in there.
I had clean the gut wagon. We got to do that.
Hell yeah. We got to do some maintenance. I got to take them flat on side by side.
On your new one?
Yeah. I don't know where, we must have did that last weekend somehow. That last Sunday. I don't know. It had to be a stop or something. I couldn't really tell.
We can fix it.
Something busted a tire on it. But what else I got on here? Oh, the biologist work. This is the time of year you want to, if you're using a state biologist or you got somebody coming in to, kind of give you some advice on what to do for the year. This is the time of year to start thinking about that.
Yeah, and one of ours is burning off some of the area we have and cleaning up those woods in that manner is doing a prescribed burn. So
we're probably going to get in on some of that action on some of ours.
Yeah, it's got to be done like now.
Yeah, and what that's going to do is it's going to promote new growth. It'll clean out all that under decay and stuff. It'll let some new stuff come up. And then, Mike, I know y'all talked about doing tree maintenance. We got some that we're going to do a hack and squirt on where you try to kill some trees where they don't put back out. And what that does is it opens up that canopy and lets some more light down. And so it's just it's going to make some natural browse in the woods for you. So it might not look pretty, but it's habitat.
So that's another thing I've always, I don't know, I guess realistically thinking burning something's like a bad thing.
Yeah,
I talked to that guy, the Corps engineer guy's a good friend of mine. It's like he explained it to me, and I realized then, you need to burn it.
Yeah, no, it's really the fire is one of the best things for some woods. It really is. I mean, I know you don't want it to get out of control. You don't want to put people's houses or property in danger.
Do it the right way.
Yeah, do it the right way. But that's some of the best thing you can do if you got woods.
And this time of the year is some of the best time because everything's still damp. So it's hard for it to get away from you unless you're just being a freaking idiot. Is it gonna get away from you? But
that's one thing I had no idea how to do. I ain't never tried to burn anything.
There's a science to it. It's not just go out there and set the woods on fire and go on back to the house. You gotta
imagine you gotta cut your brakes around whatever you fix to burn first to make sure you got some ditches or something.
Cut your brakes. Make sure you're starting the fire in the right direction. Checking your wind, making sure your wind directions, which way it's blowing. It's
what goes into it as far as permits, or you have to let somebody know that you're fixing to do a burn? Or
one guy said that he lets the local fire department, of course, know they're doing it, fire chief or whatever. If you got that, if you have his number or know somebody on the fire department, let them know, hey, we're fixing to do a prescribed burn. But you do have to pull a permit, and I'm not sure where that permit gets pulled at.
Like the guys I know at the Corps, they got burn license. I mean, they got that kind of, I guess, like in their degree, to how to do the prescribed burning. He said he's definitely willing to help us out. Like I said, it goes back again using your state resources.
Yeah, no, we're definitely doing that. It's already in the works, isn't it?
Yep.
Gotta get some duck blinds out of the fields.
Yep.
That'd be the next thing for me, at least. That and figure out if we're gonna build a big one for the timber next year.
Oh, we got to.
Let y'all handle the Buck Junkies. I'll try to get some ducks.
Duck Junkies?
Yeah.
Buck and Duck Junkies.
I'm finna be a rabbit junkie for the.
Are you? Is it time? Well, anything else we got to talk about? I had a recipe we were going to talk about, but I think we'll roll that over to next week because we're about at our time limit, gentlemen.
Always some good eating.
Y'all got anything else on the agenda we need to talk about?
I think we're good.
Yep. That's it.
Well, hey, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us here today at Buck Junkie, and we'll be back next week to talk about hunting and all kinds of good stuff. So
whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
We go.
We gone.